And as hard as I am on Rachel Notley, and she deserves all of it, Alberta right now spends $2,700 more per person in government spending than BC. And that didn't happen exclusively under Rachel Notley. It's increasing under Rachel Notley, but it happened under the Conservatives, who were also beholden to the public sector unions. They seem to need the support of the public sector unions to win. So it's not just something that the NDP or the Liberals do. Conservative politicians are playing this game too.
Yes, particularly in Alberta. It was elected strictly on the backs of the unions. They had something called 5-minute memberships during the leadership race. She made a play for the union, said, hey, we're going to look after you if I get elected as leader. And the teachers' unions rushed out and bought memberships for the sole purpose of voting at the leadership election, and it helped. And what was the very first thing that Redford did? She gave $175 million back to the teachers in additional spending. They say, oh well, it's for it's classrooms, books, chalkboards, and pens and papers, but that's BS. The biggest single expense in any level of government is their compensation. In education, 80% of every dollar that goes into education goes direct into a payroll package for the people working in the system. There's a huge pension apartheid in Canada. The gap teacher in Ontario is a median salary of $95,000 a year. When they retire, they're getting a 70% pension on that. That's more than the average working stiff in the province is making while they're working. And they're going to collect that for another 30 years. It's the biggest fraud, the biggest plunder of wealth in our generation, and it's still a untold story, and it's still widely misunderstood by most Canadians. So watch for what happens in Alberta. Notley, Lee, do you remember the first few days of the Notley government? Somebody called into the Premier's office, and it was answered by somebody from the Alberta Union of Public Employees. They didn't even say, hi, it's the Premier's office. They said, hi, it's AUPE, Alberta Union of Public Employees. That's how close, it was, the huge hit that farmers took with that horrible bill that Notley first introduced. That was something that had been percolating and had been going through union discussions for several years.
That's an excerpt from my weekly full-length show, The Gun Show. On my show, I take on the issues of the day through my Alberta Conservative lens, and I talk to the real newsmakers the mainstream media ignores. To get access to my show and all of our other premium content, click the link on the screen to subscribe today.